Welcome to the Kennedy Report. I'm Kennedy Hall. Here is why Klaus Schwab's Great Reset is doomed to fail. I believe it's going to fail. And this is not just because of the consecration of Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, which we've talked about in other places. If you want to know my opinion on that, check out our previous videos. I wrote an article a little while back for LifeSite. It was called something like Klaus Schwab's Reset will fail, here's why, or something like that. Anyway, this is sort of a play on that. But new things have come out since then, which have made me believe that it's even more absurd than it was. The reason why I wanted to address this is because, to be honest, everyone looks at this Klaus Schwab character like he's the boogeyman or something, like he's some sort of Marvel villain that has this, I don't know, magical preternatural power over the universe. I'm not suggesting that these Great Reset types are not dangerous. I'm not suggesting that they're not crazy. In fact, I think they're so crazy that that's going to be their downfall. And we're going to look at that in a second here. Before we continue, though, if you have enjoyed these videos, which I hope you have, please like and subscribe to this video and this channel. Click the link in the description to help us on. The donations have been incredible. We are so overwhelmed with what's happened. We have some new studio stuff coming, some green screen, some lights, some new cameras, and all that sort of stuff. So we just got to keep that coming, and you guys are making this possible. We've got some big Fulton Sheen projects in the works, actually. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Thank you to everybody who's signed up. Go to thekennedyreport.com for all of the information, or click the links in the description. Pretty easy to find. Okay, so Glenn Beck, you know Glenn Beck. He's, if you don't, he's a conservative radio host. He's quite an interesting guy. He recently did this little podcast episode on, I guess it's not little, it was his show on what's going on with this World Government Summit or something like that. And of course, Klaus Schwab and his Great Reset are sort of the main thing. So here's a clip that I'm going to watch, we're going to watch together, and I'm going to react to this because this is just classic Schwab. So let's see what he has to say.
We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen.
Now listen to this.
However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected.
Got it?
Okay, so one of the reasons why I have a hard time taking Klaus Schwab seriously is because he looks like a parody of a Bond villain, but that's a whole other thing. These people speak in the most broad of terms, and this is why they're able to have influence, but at the same time why they're able to scare people. You know, we do not know what systems will be affected by these changes, but we do know that there'll be big changes. How is that different than something like a fortune cookie? How are you any different than a horoscope? I don't know. I think it's crazy. But so this is this setting it up. This is this global summit thing. And then there's something else that was said there about controlling all of the world's currencies, which has a lot of people alarmed. And I got this clip from Glenn Beck as well. And this is clip 2 that we're going to watch here. Now, again, take it with a grain of salt, listen to it, and then we'll talk about it in a second.
What underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in 71, and so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly,
yes,
we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one.
The
new one,
dollar.
the new accounting is what we call blockchain. It means digital.
Listen to
it
this.
means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europeans have committed to that as well. And the question is, will that new system of digital money and digital accounting accommodate the competing needs of the citizens of all these locations so that every human being has a chance to have a better life? Because that's the only measure of whether a world order really serves.
Okay, that's enough for her. Sorry for putting you through that. First things first. Never trust that a woman with eye makeup like that is telling you the truth. That might be a little bit harsh. I'm just saying, you're some sort of billionaire or whatever, and here you are on camera and you did your makeup like that. I'm sorry, but it has to be said. That might be a little bit cheap shot, but this person is talking about upending your life. These people, what did she even say there? They don't say anything when they're speaking. You know, we're going to change the world by introducing a whole new system. Everyone's going to be on board, and we're on the brink of something amazing. And when that thing comes, it's going to be amazing. And we have to balance the powers of this and the powers of that. And in order to do that, we're going to need full commitment by this, that, and other thing to make sure that the world is better, because that's the mark of a good world, as if it's good. These people are nuts. They're nuts, okay? It's not to say that they don't do dangerous things, but I am saying they're nuts. And as we watch these clips, they're getting progressively more nuts, okay? So one of the reasons why I don't believe that there will be this complete control of every single currency on Earth is because, listen, take a trip to certain parts of the world. There is not even access to consistent refrigeration and plumbing. So call me crazy here, but, you know, I don't know how you're going to be able to completely upend the entire banking system in every single country and have everyone join in, and everyone's going to have digital money, and everyone's going to have access, and blah, 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 blah. And the way you're going to do that is why? Because you want to? I'm sorry, but there are whole parts of the world where internet access is shoddy. There are whole parts of the world where people don't use that many smartphones. I have a dumb phone right here. You know where these are hugely popular? Places like India, Sub-Saharan Africa. They have these whole phone systems that are based on these 2G networks still. This is science fiction. It doesn't mean that it's not dangerous when people like Justin Trudeau and so forth join in. But this is science fiction. It's not reality. And if you want more proof of that, this is clip 3. And here is some absolute bloody nut job talking about some sort of human being thing going extinct and being replaced by some sort of alien or something. And this is from Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum Great Reset crowd. This is just a couple years old. Everybody forgot about it. But listen to this, because this is absolutely insane. And people take this man seriously.
So I want to talk to you today about the future of our species and really the future of life. We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens. Within a century or two, Earth will be dominated by entities that are more different from us than we are different from Neanderthals or from chimpanzees.
Okay, so that's insane. And this guy is off his rocker and should be in a rubber room. I'm just saying. This is one of the last generations of Homo sapiens, and within 200 years, the world is going to be dominated by things that are more different than us than we are from chimpanzees? What the heck is this idiot talking about? You see, this is what the Bible talks about, well, partly, when it talks about false prophets. This right here is a false prophet. He doesn't know anything about what's going to happen. Today is April 1st as I record this. It was snowing today. Apparently, global warming, for me, where I live, was an April Fool's joke the whole time. There is not going to be some sort of evolutionary race that will usurp and replace the human race. That will be like some sort of alien entity walking around the earth. That's just absolutely bananas. Bananas. Don't think that people that are this insane are in control of anything. Again, it doesn't mean they don't have influence. It doesn't mean that people don't think they're interesting and cool. But if you think that you can predict that human beings are going to go away, then you are no more sane than the nut job, tent revivalist preacher who puts up a billboard and says Christ is coming back on the April 3rd. Repent because the rapture is nigh. You are just as nuts. I don't care if you call yourself a scientist. I don't care if you call yourself an economist. You're a crazy person. And crazy people aren't able to predict what's going to happen because they don't live in reality. We need to stop being scared of these people. It doesn't mean, again, that this guy doesn't stand for some... Of course he does. It's dangerous that people are going to listen to these people along the way, but they're not going to usher in some sort of global order where they're in control of every aspect of their life because they're not even in control of their own sanity. Anyway, here's the last clip. This is clip 4, and here is some woman talking about wanting to be a cyborg. I'm serious, she wants to be a cyborg. And she is speaking at another World Economic Forum event. This is, I think, part of Davos in 2020 or something, or 2021, whenever these things were. And she's talking about being a cyborg. So let's take a look at clip 4 here.
We're going to start the When Humans Become Cyborg session. You know, I always want to be a cyborg. I'm waiting for the day to become one. But let's see, like today we like to really talk about the recent developments of brain-computer interface and how that's really blurring the line between man and machine.
Okay, I got to stop there because I'm going to become an alcoholic if I have to watch any more of this. This is a grown woman. She probably has like a university degree. Was it Ozaki? Is she Japanese? I don't know. She is speaking at some sort of major event for the World Economic Forum. This was in 2020, actually, yes, just before the lockdown started. And she's saying that she really wants to be a cyborg. If you are a grown woman or a grown man and you stand in front of a crowd of people and unironically you tell those people that you want to be a cyborg, you're not a serious person. You're not a sane person. You're an insane person. And if you go to one of these events, and you listen to these people, and you think they're not insane, then you too are insane. This whole World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, Great Reset crowd, these are crazy people. It doesn't mean they're not dangerous. Crazy people are dangerous, but they are crazy nonetheless. And not just crazy like crazy for power, but they're just nuts, like they should be in a room with padded walls. Now you might say to yourself, that's all well and good. They just use the crazies to get what they want. If you hire insane people, you also might be insane. We need to stop fearing these people. They say crazy things like, you will own nothing and be happy. Nonsense. I will own whatever I want to own, thank you very much. They want you to eat bugs. I'm not eating bugs. They want you to live in a pod. I'm not living in a pod. It's not going to happen. You're not going to control the whole world because you're not God. These people are nuts. Last thing I'll say here before I sign off. You know, people will talk about we should read George Orwell, Huxley, these dystopian novels that predict the future. There was a massive flaw in those novels. They were really interesting, but there was a massive flaw. The flaw is that they were basically written by atheists. And they were people who believed in the materialist view of the world. So when you read those books, there's no conception of sin. There's really no ultimate conception of right and wrong. Even in Orwell, you kind of feel for the main character, but he's got a consequentialist moral outlook, and that comes out later in the book. But in any case, more important than reading these novels about dystopian technological futures is reading Shakespeare and reading the Greek myths. And why is that? Because those books were written by either Shakespeare, who was a Christian, or pagans who at least had a supernatural outlook on life. And in those books, what always happens, or in those stories, those plays, is that the sins come back to haunt you. This is evident in, think of Hamlet and Macbeth. In Macbeth, he consults the witches. He basically becomes a suicidal maniac because of his sin, because of his deal with the devil. It kills him, or at least spiritually kills him. You see this with Hamlet. Why do the ghosts keep coming back? Because the sins come back to haunt you. You see this in the Greek myths, where the gods were tricksters, and they would play tricks on those who thought that they could take over things. It's to remind you that you're not in control, and you'll never control the whole world. You'll never make everyone eat bugs. You'll never control all the transactions people do. It doesn't matter how much internet you want, because if you believe you can do that, you must be like one of these insane people. So, the Great Reset is doomed to fail. Just like every other weird cult who thought it could control the world in the past is doomed to fail. Sorry if that bursts your bubble. Stop being scared of these people. Be alert. Work the way that you have to work in order to, make sure that you ensure a proper life for yourself and your family. But I'm sorry. I'm done taking people seriously who say they want to be cyborgs. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. Go to theKennedyReport.com for more information about what we've got going on. Click the link in the description to donate if you could be so kind. And I have this stack of books behind my book here to pretend that I'm smart. And here's my book, Terror of Demons. If you want to have something to read about being a better, stronger Catholic male, even if you're not Catholic, there's still lots in there for you. Check it out. You can find the link for that in the description as well. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up. This has been the Kennedy Report. Until next time, God bless.